Guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'll be doing the NFL teams tier list. I'll be ranking them, Super Bowl contenders, good teams, average teams, below average, and trash. Those are the categories, and I'll be ranking all the teams and that. Elite is obviously like the Super Bowl contenders. Good is the borderline, probably contenders. Average is 8-8, or more, maybe like 8-9, 9-8 right now because the 17 game schedule. Below average, and then trash, which is like probably be like the Texans and those teams. So yeah, we'll get that started. Just a NFL tier list. So this is just with the teams, no players or anything. And I'll be doing more like prediction videos, like real predictions, like record predictions. Like this is a website I'm going to be using. And we'll be doing that right before the NFL season starts, probably like next month, August or so. I'll be doing that. So yeah, let's get this started. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Let's see if you guys can see that. All right, the wrong angle. All right, there we go. So you guys can see the categories: elite, good, average. I'm thinking, yeah, I think these are pretty good categories. I made them myself, so but I'm using someone else's template. But yeah, let's get this started. So we'll start with the Chicago Bears now. Okay, so they drafted Justin Fields. They have a pretty good defense. To be honest, they have one of the better defenses. They have Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith, Akeem Hicks, Eddie Jackson. They have all those guys. And drafting Justin Fields, I mean, to be honest, I think Justin Fields, in my opinion, should be the starter day one. But like, I don't know, yeah, like it says. No, like I think like they have Andy Dalton. Like, why would you go with him over Justin Fields? Like maybe just like I've seen a lot of quarterbacks like for example, it's Jimmy G this season. I think he'll start for the 49ers, and then Trey Lance will he'll probably like replace him like mid-season or so. Like I've seen a lot of teams take that approach, and the Ravens did that with Lamar Jackson. The Chiefs sat Patrick Mahomes down for a whole season, sat behind Alex Smith. But in this case, I don't think you can do that. I mean, Andy Dalton's past his prime. Let's be honest. And yeah, I don't really like rate him, to be honest. I'm gonna create another category. I think that would make things easier. I can. Oh shoot. Okay. Yeah. So let's add a row. We'll call it borderline elite. Because if you guys have watched my other tier lists, you know that you guys know. Oh shoot. Okay, wait, man. Oh man. Okay, so this will be good. There we go. Okay, so those are the tiers. Um, yeah, we'll just add good. I think that would make things easier. But okay, we'll start. Okay, so Bears, I'd say are average. Like they oh yeah, and I forgot Allen Robinson. They have David Montgomery. Like that's a decent team. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's not a playoff team yet, but I think it will eventually be one. Justin Fields, like he's definitely Justin Fields is definitely the quarterback for the future, and I think he'll have a good career. But yeah, there we go. We'll put them there. All right, the Bucks. I mean, they're coming off this a Super Bowl Super Bowl win. They just got the Super Bowl rings. That doesn't have anything to do with this, but I think what they did. I mean, they re-signed their whole roster, the whole starting roster at least. Re-signed all 22 players. They're keeping all of them for this season. That's very hard to do. I don't think any NFL team is. I think it's the first time in NFL history a Super Bowl winning team has kept all 22 starters, that's crazy. And they even got AB back. They got Fournette, all those guys, on defense. They got those guys. So yeah, it's crazy. And yeah, I think I mean, Tom Brady, like he's not people say he's not a top 5 QB anymore, which I could understand. I don't think he is. No, I think he is, but maybe like you can make an argument he's not. Even though that, like, you still have to say this team is such a complete team. The defense was so good last season, and the offense is just amazing too. So like it's got to be an elite team. I mean, bringing back all 22 starters, like that just says it all. Like that's an elite team. So yeah, there you go. All right, next up we got the Falcons. This is an average team, I think. Average. They just lost Julio, which is, I mean, I think it was the best for both sides. I mean, to be honest, Julio is getting like to the end of his career, and like he doesn't want to keep wasting his career in the Falcons. These past few years, it hasn't been great, and they just drafted a very good player in Kyle Pitts. They have an elite wide receiver in Calvin Ridley. So I mean that's just Calvin Ridley's targets are gonna go up, and he's gonna have another good season in my opinion. And same with Kyle Pitts. He's gonna be a top 10 or maybe even top. People are saying he'll be a top 5 tight end this season, which I could see personally. So yeah, I definitely think Falcons are an average team. I think they have a decent defense, but yeah, they definitely. I think they're an average team. All right, now we got the Browns. Now this is a borderline elite team. They're not. They're not. I wouldn't say because Baker Mayfield. He's a good quarterback, but for me, he hasn't shown they have a really good all around roster. Like some teams don't have to rely on the QB, but I think Baker Mayfield with me, he's shown he's good, but he can be kind of inconsistent. He had a really good season last year. Very underrated season. I have to give him credit for that. But I think the season before that, he had a pretty good solid rookie year, but then his second year, that wasn't. We never know. Like he could have that again, or he could have a mixed season. He could have a very elite season. You never know with Baker Mayfield. So I'm gonna have to put them at borderline elite. They have a very improved defense. They got John Johnson and the other guy from the Rams. They got two guys from the Rams. I think it was John Johnson, the safety and cornerback, like Troy, I think was his name. Like in there, that was part. They were like the best secondary last season, and I forgot what the Troy guy's name was, but yeah, and then they got Jadeveon Clowney, which was big. That's gonna take pressure off of him because Myles Garrett's on the other end. They have a pretty good D line. They got JOK in the draft. They got Gregory Newsome, the safety. So that's a very good defense. And then the offense, they have probably one of the best running backs in the league, Nick Chubb. OBJ, who's returning, I think he'll have a good season. Juice Landry, who's pretty good, and that O line is a good too. So that's a pretty complete team. That's one of that you could make a case that is the best roster in the NFL. But I just don't think they're elite just because of Baker. You never know, and I think it's just biased because I like the Ravens. But whatever. All right, Seahawks. We'll put them. I don't think they're elite. This is, they always seem to collapse at the end of the season. And by the way, this is like going into 2021. This is like kind of predictions, I guess. So I think they'll have a borderline. Like they're not gonna win the Super Bowl. No way they are. They have a good defense. I think DK Metcalf he's gonna have a good season again. Russell Wilson is a top 3 quarterback. Yeah, I don't think they're at that elite point yet, but because I don't see them winning. But I don't see them being really Super Bowl like contenders. But I hope they don't start the season off so good and then just drop off in like the middle of the season and end the season so poorly like they did for the past 2 seasons. That can't happen again if they want to win. And yeah, let's see, because this could be Wilson's last year with Seattle, because you never know with him, right? Because he had all that drama this offseason and he cleared all that up. And hey, if they don't get past the first round again, I think he'll be out, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see with that. All right, now we got the Detroit Lions. They're trash. They're trash. They have no receiver one. I don't even know who their wide receiver one is. Their best offensive weapon is probably, or receiving a weapon is probably T.J. Hawkinson, who's their tight end. And they have a pretty good O-line. They have a good O-line. They have and then they have DeAndre Swift, who I think might have a good season. But Jared Goff, you got rid of Stafford. Like I don't see them having a good team. Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones both left. I don't even know who their receiver one is, to be honest. I have no clue who it is. I think it's like Tyrell Williams. I'm not sure, but yeah, and then the defense, they have Jeff Okudah. They have some okay talents, but that's not a good team. That's not a good team. And I think the 2 teams in trash would probably be them and the Texans. But yeah, okay. Now we have the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Football Team. Here we go. Okay, Dallas is good. They're not borderline elite. Dallas is good. They have probably the best, top 2 receiving corps in the NFL. Dak is back, obviously. Let's see how he performs. And Zeke, he has to have a good season. Because I mean, last season he really just fell off. I don't know what happened, but yeah, Zeke has to bounce back. And I think they just started camp the other day, training camp. Like so, I mean, and I was hearing good things about Zeke so far. I mean, it only just started, so but let's see. I think Zeke really has to have a good year. And yeah, I don't think they're borderline elite. Like they're just not. Like I mean, the Cowboys are always overhyped. Let's be honest. But I mean, I have the Washington football team winning that division. To be honest, that team, the football team is probably. I think they're the best all around team, and their defense is probably top five. So yeah, and we got them next, and they're not borderline elite either. They're just like that offense. Like you can't be a borderline elite with Ryan Fitzpatrick as your quarterback. I mean, the offense is pretty good. I mean, Terry McLaurin, they got Curtis Samuel. They have Antonio Gibson, who had a really good year last season. And then that defense is just elite. I mean, that's probably the best D line and one of the best D lines in the NFL. And yeah, just Chase Young. I mean, I think he's gonna have another great year. So yeah, I'll put the Washington football team at good. I mean, if they had a better quarterback, like if they can get a better quarterback, they can definitely like, do some damage in the playoffs. And I think they could win over 10 games if they had a decent quarterback. That's why I thought they would like trade up in the draft to either get Fields or Mac Jones, but I mean, the Bears traded up and the Pats took Mac Jones. So yeah. All right. Next, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Now, they're not borderline elite either. They're good. I'll put them in good. I don't think like they're not. I wouldn't say. Yeah. I mean, I think that they have a really good offense. Just, I mean, the defense is all right. There's some good players on the defense like Chandler Jones, Isaiah Simmons, some of those guys. But I mean, let's see how Kyler performs. Because last year they finished 8-8. Like Kyler was an MVP candidate at one point, but I don't know. Like I don't think they're like a Super Bowl contender. I don't know if I mean Kyler's such a good quarterback, but like who's the running back? James Conner. I mean, I don't really know if that's a great running back. They have a pretty good receiving core. Let's see what happens with DeAndre Hopkins. But yeah, I don't think they're borderline elite. I think they're a good team. And they could prove a lot of people wrong. They could be contenders this year. They added AJ Green, they still have Fitzgerald. Let's see how he plays. He's pretty much past his prime. But yeah. All right, next up we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Ooh, I think they're below average. I'm gonna put them in below average. I mean, like they just lost Carson Wentz. I mean, they have Jalen Hurts at QB. It's gonna be interesting to see how he does with them. Uh, but yeah, I don't think Jalen Hurts is that good. Like people have been comparing him to like when Lamar Jackson was a rookie and how he's gonna break out maybe this year. A lot of Eagles fans have been saying that, but like no, he's so different. Like, not so different, but like he can't throw as well as Lamar. I'd say, and yeah, I don't think Jalen Hurts will have like a great career, but he can still have a decent career. But I don't know. I think he's a backup at best. To be honest, I don't really see what's so good about him. But yeah. Next up, we got the Dolphins. We'll put them in good. They have a really good quarterback. I mean, who had a decent year last year, Tua Tagovailoa. Let's see how he can go this season. He wasn't the best last season. I expected him to be better, but he was behind Fitzpatrick for part of the season, and then they put him in, and then they finished 10-6, which is a pretty good record for the Dolphins. I mean, considering the past few years, but I think he's gonna have a better season this time around. And yeah, Tua, and then they drafted Jalen Waddle, who has good chemistry with, and then they got Will Fuller, also. So yeah. Next up, we got the Pats, who are also good. They have a really good defense, and they added a lot of weapons to their offense. They got Johnny Smith, Hunter Henry, and it looks like they will be starting Cam Newton as their QB1. There's obviously Mac Jones, who they drafted. Mac Jones, who I think will be okay. I think he went to the right team. Like out of any team, the Patriots was probably the best possible team, considering how Bill Belichick developed Tom Brady over the years. Like it could be similar with what Mac Jones could do. So let's see what happens with that. Yeah, Mac Jones definitely he has potential. I don't really see anything great in him. Like I don't see what's so good about him. I think he got carried by his wide receivers in Alabama, but I mean he won the national championship. So yeah, I mean I think this is the right pick for the Patriots, and yeah, I mean Cam Newton's gonna have to start in my opinion. I think he has to start. Let's see what he can do. If he can't do great, then you'll start Mac Jones. But yeah. All right, next we got Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. I said Trevor Lawrence first. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, decent team. You know, they have a decent receiving core. I think they got Marvin Jones, DJ Chark, and Laviska Shenault. That's a good receiving core. They still have that running back. I forgot his name. James Robinson, I think it was from last season. He had a good year. He rushed for 1,000 plus, and then they drafted Travis Etienne. So I mean, that's a good offense. Defense. I mean, they don't have Jalen Ramsey obviously anymore. That was like 2 years ago when they let him go. They have an okay defense, but like, nah, I don't know. I don't think their defense is that good. I think, yeah, I just think the Jaguars. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is in his first year. It's gonna be a slow like year, but he's definitely. I think he's gonna win Rookie of the Year, but you know, I don't think he'll propel them to the playoffs or something. Like he's just a rookie. Like you can't rely on him to send you to the playoffs in his first year. To be honest, but yeah. All right. So next we got the Vikings. This all depends on Aaron Rodgers. I think. Well, no, it doesn't all depend on. I think they'll still be a good team. They'll be in that tier if even if Rodgers doesn't leave. But if Rodgers does leave, then I think they'll win their division. But yeah, I think Rodgers is gonna stay. I mean that's crazy. He didn't attend training camp, which is crazy, which is pretty big, and I think he's gonna get fined or something. Every practice he misses, he gets fined or something like that. So yeah, I don't. I think the Vikings like I don't know. The Vikings really. I think they have a really good team. I mean, they have a really good defense, and then they have. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins. That's my only problem. They have a good receiving core. You know, JJ and Thielen, and then they have Dalvin Cook, a top five running back. So that's a pretty complete team right there. Now that I think about it, but I don't know. I just don't have faith in Kirk Cousins. I watched him a lot when he was in Washington, and he was pretty good. But I mean, with the Vikings, I just don't think he's been as good as that. But yeah, I mean, the stats may say something different, but I mean, he's not the. I don't think he's the best. One like a top 10 QB, maybe top 15, but Steelers will put them in average. They're a very average team. They have a really good defense, probably a top 10 defense, but they have their offense just isn't good. They don't have a real receiver one, in my opinion. They have Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and Juju Smith as their receiving core. That's not a good receiving core, in my opinion. Juju, first of all, Juju, he's canceled because what he did last season, like all that dancing stuff and all that dancing on logos, like that all backfired on him. And like a lot of people liked Juju before he did all that stuff. Like, and then he would just troll teams and all that, and like troll your favorite NFL team, and then everyone hated him after that, and it all resulted in them losing in the first round. They were literally went. That's the most like overhyped undefeated team of all time. They went 12-0 and lost their last like six, which is crazy. That's I mean the Steelers like they're just gonna go downhill from now on. Like first of all, that's the receiving core. Okay, they drafted their O line is over as well. They lost Alejandro Villanueva, they released him, and for some reason they released David DeCastro, which I have no clue why. And then they did draft Najee Harris, but like it's gonna be difficult for him with that trash offensive line. The defense, I mean, like I said before, the defense is pretty good. They lost Bud Dupree, but I mean, it's still a good defense. And then you have Ben Roethlisberger is just aging, and I think this is probably like his last year in the NFL. I think he's finished in the NFL. I don't think he'll be. He's never going to be elite again. In my opinion, if we're looking at the tiers right here, he's like an average to good quarterback right now. Like I don't know if I'm like yeah, I just don't think the Steelers are going to be good. And I think they'll be like 8 and 9, something mid like that. They have a really good defense, just the offense is not good. They don't have a real like Juju Smith is so overrated. He's not top 10. He may even not be top 15, maybe not even top 20. And then just Chase Claypool, okay, he's all right, but he's not. He's like a wide receiver 3 at best. Deontay Johnson's trash, and then yeah, I mean the run game, like I said, Najee Harris is okay. He's just a rookie. We'll see how he does. best running back in the class. But yeah. Next up, we have Green Bay. Now, Green Bay is a elite team if Aaron Rodgers plays. See, that's how much this guy matters to this team. If they lose him, they go down all the way to probably average. If they lose him with Jordan Love, they're going down to average. Um, but yeah, we'll put him in elite because Rodgers hasn't left yet. But it's all this stuff all depends on Rodgers. And I hope Rodgers doesn't end up retiring or something because that would be very disappointing. He's had such a good career. And that would like there's been a lot of rumors that he might retire. There's some rumors he might get traded to the Broncos. If he can get traded to the Washington football team now, they will be Super Bowl contenders. Like that would be crazy if he did. Because like I said before, they have a pretty good O line. They have probably the top three defense in the league. They have a really good receiving core. Well, not really good, but a pretty good receiving core. McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. I mean, I think that would be better than him going to the Broncos. Like, why go to the Broncos when you could just go to the Washington? Like, I don't know what the football team would have to give up, but like, why go to the Broncos? Like the receiver ones, like Sutton or Judy. Like McLaurin's better than both of them. You'll have better weapons in DC, and you can rely on your defense a lot. So I definitely think they should trade. I definitely think the Washington football team should trade for him because if they do, then they actually have a shot at the Washington football team goes up to elite if they trade for Rodgers. But yeah. But yeah, back to the Packers. They have Devontae Adams, probably the best top two receiver in the league. I have DeAndre Hopkins in front of him, but yeah, DeAndre Hopkins in front of him, but Devontae Adams is very good. They have Aaron Jones is probably a top 15, top 10 running back. That you have, you have some good players. This like I don't know why, but the Packers haven't been drafting Rodgers weapons in the first round. That's why like the receiving core isn't the best. I mean, they have Devontae, but behind him, who's the real wide receiver too? They have a pretty good defense. Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, those guys. They're pretty good. Jair Alexander is probably the best corner in the league at the moment. So I mean, that's a pretty good defense. And yeah, that's an elite team with Rodgers. Without, it's either good or average. I don't think Jordan Love will be good in this league. All right, next we got the Raiders. Ooh, this is tough. I'm gonna put them. They're definitely in the middle, like between good and average. Good and average. I think I'll put him in good. I think Derek Carr is a top 15 quarterback. I think he's pretty underrated at the moment. I mean, no, I don't know. I want to. Yeah, see, this is hard right here. I don't know. I want to put them in average, but then like I think they have a pretty good team. I'm gonna put them in good for now. But yeah, just up like if there was a category in between, I'd put them there. But I think I'm gonna put them in good. Yeah, I mean, Derek Carr's a good quarterback. I think Henry Ruggs is looking to have a bounce back season. Josh Jacobs is a pretty good running back. He didn't have the best of best seasons last year, but yeah, he's a good running back, and I think he's definitely a star. But yeah, next we got the Bills. Ooh, oh my God, they're elite. Like as much as I hate to say it, they're elite. I hate the Bills, because I'm a Ravens fan. I hate the Bills, but Josh Allen is probably a top, in my opinion. If you looked at my quarterbacks list, they're top six team. I mean, top. He's a top six QB in the NFL. I have Lamar ahead of him. Um, Josh Allen is top six. They had the best receiver in the league last season, Stephon Diggs. They have a good defense. There's some pretty good players, Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde, some of those guys. So yeah, that's definitely an elite team. They have a better team than the Ravens overall. But the Ravens have the better quarterback. But yeah, that's a debate for another day. Next, we got the Ravens, and I mean, I wish I could put them in elite. I wish I could, but they're borderline. I don't know, like what the. I mean, I think we have a really good team. We have a really good defense. We have like Marcus Peters. Our secondary is pretty underrated and really good. Marlon Humphrey's probably the most versatile corner in the league. Marcus Peters is a top 10 cornerback. Chuck Clark is very underrated, and same with Deshaun Elliott. They both had really good seasons last year. Jimmy Smith is pretty good too. He's been very underrated over the years. A lot of our team is just underrated. I don't know why people don't pay attention to the Ravens. Until Lamar came, but yeah, we have some really good players. Tavon Young, he drafted some good players. We got Adafe Owe, the edge rusher, and let's see if we can get Justin Houston, which I think we will. I think we will eventually get Justin Houston. This team, I don't know, maybe that could turn us into something bigger, maybe an elite team. I don't know. I don't know how much of an impact he'll have, but I know if we get Justin Houston, that would be pretty big, and I think we'll definitely win our division if we do get Justin Houston. So, and then the offense, the only problem is the wide receivers. I think we have an elite running back in J.K. Dobbins. He'll be top 10 this season. We have a decent O line. We lost Orlando Brown, obviously, but we did draft Lane Cleveland. We got Kevin Zeitler in. So, yeah, we got some good, and we're getting Ronnie Stanley back, which is nice. So our O-line is decent. We have Lamar Jackson, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And then our receiving core is pretty good too. Just we don't have that real receiver one. That's the only problem. Like you always have to have that receiver one. Like every team in the elite section, as you can see, the Packers, Devontae Adams, the Bucks, Mike Evans, and then the Bills, Stephon Diggs. So yeah, you really need that wide receiver one. We don't have that. We don't have that elite wide receiver one. Do we need one? I'm not so sure because we're one run heavy offense, but I mean, like Lamar can really throw the ball, and I think if we did have one, that would really help him, and that would turn us into Super Bowl contenders. But I think going into the season, the wide receiver one is definitely going to be Sammy Watkins or Hollywood Brown. It's going to be interesting to see how both of them do in camp, because none of them are really elite. They're like really like average to good receivers. And we drafted Rashad Bateman, who I think by the end of the season is probably going to be our first option, our first our number one. So yeah, I mean that's the problem with the offense, the receiving core. And I was really hoping we would trade for Allen Robinson. If we could get him, we'll be Super Bowl contenders. If we could have gotten T.Y. Hilton, which would have been pretty big. But I think we could still get A-Rob, but I doubt we will. That's probably unrealistic at this point. But yeah. And next we have the New Orleans Saints. I'm gonna put them in average. You could put like a lot of people are sleeping on them, I think, but no, because I think look, I think if you can't put them in good because we just got news this morning that Michael Thomas will miss about the beginning of the season until November, I believe. Like that's a possibility. So I mean, if you don't have your best wide receiver, who in my opinion is a top 5 receiver in the league, who's the option after that? You have Alvin Kamara. You have a good defense. You have Jameis Winston under center. If he had Michael Thomas as one of his weapons, that really would have helped him. But now that they don't have him, I don't know what they're gonna do. And that just makes me think. I don't think they'll be. I don't think they'll be good this year. I did do a tier list I just for fun about 2 weeks ago. It was just for fun. It wasn't posted anywhere, but I had the Saints in the good category, and because that was because I knew Michael Thomas was going to play, but it looks like he's getting surgery now, and I mean missing the first 2, that's going to cost him a lot of games. This guy's a game winner. This guy can win you games, and I think you just can't put him in good, and I'm gonna have to put him in average. But the Saints, I mean, I can't put the Saints in good. I'm gonna have to put them in average at this point. That really just changes how the team plays, like without Michael Thomas. And it's pretty concerning because I mean, I think it's probably because of the injury from last season, but yeah. All right, next up we got the Titans. A lot of people are saying a lot of people have been saying they're elite, but I totally disagree with you. I'm gonna put them in borderline elite. Like I don't see how they're elite. Like look at that defense. First of all, yes, you did have Bud Dupree, who's a very good player. You have some pretty good. I mean, you have Malcolm Butler. I think they still have him. But I don't like Kevin. I don't know if Kevin Byard's still there, but that defense is very weak. Like if you look at the rankings, like that's where I found out like that team is. I mean, that defense is really bad. No, that offense is top 3 in the league. That offense is probably, if not the best. Like, let's look. I mean, you could make a case that team. Not that team. That the offense is top 5. I mean, top 3. Like, I mean, it's not the best offense in the league. Like, I can't really see anyone who's better. Yeah, I mean, no one. Like they have a very good receiving core. They added Julio Jones, who's probably going to be their receiver 2, which is crazy. I mean, he's past his prime. He is injury prone. But then you have an elite wide receiver in AJ Brown, and then you have Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is the best running back in the league. So that's a very elite offense. It's probably the best offense in the league. Just the like defense, offense wins you games. Isn't that what they say? They say offense wins you games and defense wins you championships. Like that's what the saying is. But um, I don't know. Let's see. I mean, sometimes your offense can be like your best defense because that's really gonna have to put points up on the board. But I just don't think you can't win the Super Bowl without a good defense. You can't win it without a good defense. Like if you look at the past two, I mean, Bucks they had a really good defense, and then the Chiefs had it okay, not okay, like a pretty good defense as well. So yeah, you can't win it without an elite defense. Um, Next, we got the Giants. The Giants. Okay, I'm gonna put them in below average. Daniel Jones is trash. That's all I gotta say. Daniel Jones is trash. I don't know where people are saying he's a. I don't know why people are saying he's a franchise QB. They did get Kenny Galladay. They drafted Kadarius Toney, but Daniel Jones. I mean, they're getting Saquon. I mean, I could put them in below average. I mean, average, but no, I'm gonna put them in below average. Like I don't know where all this hype is coming from for the Giants. Like, I mean, I don't think they need to find a new QB because Daniel Jones, he's just not it. Next up, we got the Indianapolis Colts. They're good. They're good. They have a really good team. Their defense is solid. Yeah, their defense is solid. They have Carson Wentz, who they just got. I think that's a pretty good pickup considering who was available. I mean, that was a pretty good pickup. They got T.Y. Hilton, Jonathan Taylor, who I think is a top 15 running back. Maybe I think he may break into the top 10 this year. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Um, but yeah, that's a pretty good complete team as well. That's one of those complete teams, and I'm gonna put them in good for now. And yeah, they could. I think they're gonna make the playoffs. A lot of people are actually saying they'll win their division, but I think they'll make the playoffs. But I don't think they'll win the division. I think Carson Wentz will have a pretty good year too. So yeah, if he can play well, then they'll definitely be good. All right, let's go to the Broncos. Denver Broncos are below average. I wouldn't put them in trash, I guess, but they're because they have a pretty good defense, but just their Drew Lock is trash. I don't. I think I'm guessing Teddy Bridgewater will probably start for them. That would be more reasonable. I don't know why you would start. What's his name? Drew Lock. They have Jerry Judy, who's all right. They have Cortland Sutton. That's a decent receiving core. And they have Melvin Gordon, I think, as their RB1. I forget what happened to Philip Lindsay. I think he left, um, but yeah, that's not a good team. I don't like it. The Jets, ooh, I'm gonna put them in below average just because they drafted Zach Wilson. Like if they didn't have him, they'd definitely be trash. But let's see what you can do with them. Let's see. All right. Okay, we got Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, this is I think they're good for now, and they could be elite by the borderline elite by the end of the season because I think they have a really good defense, very good defense, and then they have a pretty good offense as well. They have Austin Eckler, who's a top like 20, top 15 running back, and then they have Keenan Allen, and then what's the other guy's name? What was his name? I forget. Like Ingram, I think it was like something. I can look it up. He was Mike Williams. Mike Williams. That's who it is. He's pretty good. He's very underrated. I think you can just throw it up to him and then he'll come down with it. He's a really good wide receiver. And then they did draft what's his name, Rashawn Slater. So yeah, they have a pretty good team, and I think Justin Herbert's gonna be a I think he will be a MVP candidate. But yeah, all right. And then there's no explanation. Like you gotta put the Chiefs in the league. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. They have such a good receiving core, and there's just no explanation needed, to be honest. I mean, Kansas City, they're gonna be on top for about like let's say like 10 years, maybe. Yeah, I think they'll definitely be on top for that one, unless Mahomes gets injured or leaves or something like that, which I hope he doesn't for them. But yeah. All right, we'll put Cincy in average. Cincinnati will go to average. They're not. They're not. Their offensive line sucks. They're the best receiving core in the AFC North. They have an okay defense, but yeah, I mean Joe Burrow. Hopefully he doesn't get injured again because that offensive line is really not looking good. Joe Mixon is like a top 15 running back. But just that offensive line isn't going to help with him running, and then just Joe Burrow. I hope he doesn't get injured again because you can't afford for that to happen. Like he was the number one overall pick. He would have won Rookie of the Year. He was looking so good, and we just that can't happen again. That's why I would have taken Penny Sewell, but I mean they took Jamar Chase. He's still a good player. Jamar Chase is probably one of the best. He's probably the best receiver in this draft, but I mean, I think it's Rashad Bateman personally, but he's probably like second after that. But I mean, Penei Sewell was definitely the right choice because Penei Sewell is going to be elite. He was probably a top three player in that draft. It was like, I would rank it like top three would be Trevor first, two Kyle Pitts, and then three him. Like, I mean, you could have gone with him. I mean, the Lions got him, but yeah. All right, we already know where we're gonna put the Texans. No explanation needed. Like they're gonna start Tyrod Taylor apparently. Who's the receiver one? I forget who it is, but I mean that team sucks. I can't believe how quickly that team collapsed. Like they just traded D Hop and then they go like I forgot like they won like 4 or 5 games. They just trade him and then they don't even have a first round draft pick. And then Deshaun Watson obviously wants out. And the Texans are over. Like it's rebuild mode time. I think is the receiver one like Kenny Stills or something like that. I don't even know. And I know I know they got some. I can check. Texans wide receivers. Okay, so they still have Brandon Cooks. They signed Randall Cobb. Like Brandon Cooks as your receiver one at this point in time. That's not good. That's not good for them. Yeah, we all know the Texans are trash. Next up, we got the San Francisco 49ers. I'm gonna put them in borderline elite. Yeah, I'm gonna put them there. Okay, like they're gonna have all their players back from injury. George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo, who else? Nick Bosa. I mean, that's probably a top five defense in the league. They have a really good offense, and let's see what happens with Jimmy G. I mean, that's really gonna like I don't know if they can really win a Super Bowl with Trey Lance or Jimmy G as a quarterback. Like I think this year for them will be similar to 2019, but I don't know what's gonna happen with Jimmy G. I think he'll perform. I think they should definitely go with him starting over Trey Lance, and then you can put Trey Lance in later. But yeah, I think Jimmy G is the starter, and they're definitely a borderline elite team because that defense is elite, and they're getting all their players back from injury, and they had some injuries in the offensive line as well. So yeah, that's such a complete team right there. The only reason they're not in elite is because of the quarterback situation. All right, Rams are definitely elite team. They're an elite team. Oh, but the thing is, they did just lose. I don't know how much this hurts their I have no clue how much this really hurts their contention, but Cam Akers just Cam Akers really just tore his Achilles, and he will be out for the year, which is very unfortunate. He was definitely a breakout candidate, and I think he was going to be a top 10, top 15 running back this season. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate for them. I don't know how much that's going to affect their Super Bowl chances, but I don't think it will that much because that's still an elite defense. Like that defense, it's not as good as it was last year, but adding Matt Stafford in, that's really going to propel them to Super Bowl contender. So yeah. Okay. Next, we got the Panthers, below average in my opinion. They have DJ Moore, and then they just drafted. I'll put them in average. I mean, not drafted. They just traded for Sam Darnold, which I guess that was a good move for them. I mean, he's not. I don't believe in Sam Darnold. I don't think he'll be good. He's always been trash, to be honest. I mean, he was decent in his rookie year, but I don't think he'll do that good with the Panthers. But yeah. All right. So there you go. That's it. No. Yeah. Just that's the tier list right there. You guys can have a look. know what I'm saying? So the Bucks, they are elite. Packers, Bills, Chiefs, and Rams. These are my five Super Bowl contenders. And then one of these borderline teams could win. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. And then, yeah, we'll be doing a lot more predictions later, like who we think will lead the league in passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, not rushing touchdowns, rushing yards, passing yards, and then receiving yards. We'll be doing defensive predictions, interceptions, all that stuff, all statistics and stuff like that. And then I do have this website I found that I will be doing like actual record predictions. So it's like a really cool website. You guys will see when I do it. That will come around probably next month. So yeah, this is just the beginning of predictions, to be honest. And there's gonna be a lot more to come, I think. But yeah, so yeah, you can have one last look at it right here. There we go. And if you disagree with any of these, make sure to comment down below what you guys think. But yeah, that's it for today. We'll have more NFL content coming. Like when this, I keep saying this, but we'll have more content coming when towards the season. I think training camp starts this next week, so there's gonna be a lot of content regarding that. Um, and then we'll be obviously, like I said, be doing that predictions on that website, which is gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, that's it for today. If you liked it, make sure to like the video. I'll be doing probably like a NBA recap video soon, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next.